So Michael, what do you reckon about tax reform?
Well, broad tax reform's a policy-free zone, Tony. We've advocated for many years for a broader approach to tax reform, which includes a consideration of indirect taxes and GST in particular, but no political party's going there. Labor will put forward a range of reform measures, but their mantra is all about how these particular reforms target mainly wealthy Australians and big business. So people will have to look carefully at those policies and say, okay, let's do some sums. How would this affect us? And in doing so, mindful that some of these measures are retrospective. I mean, the franking credit refund one is retrospective, whilst others are prospective for negative gearing restrictions and the reduction of the CGT discount by halving it, 25% discount in the future under a Labor government.
I see the key to all of those issues really as you can make statements about these things as much as you like, but you've actually got to be able to legislate. So it's the makeup of the Senate that's actually going to drive the success or failure of a lot of these policies. Yeah. So we've argued a lot for a GST increase, that sort of thing. That's really unfortunately doesn't have political favour at the moment. But all of these big changes, as you mentioned, franking credits, CGT discount, gearing, etc., you've got to be able to legislate, don't you?
Exactly, and the composition of the crossbench independent senators will be fascinating. Also, we've urged Labor to come up with a model about how it will design the new legislation. We'd like to see them commit to a panel or some sort of expertise group, subject matter experts who will help design good laws and come up with practical ways to alleviate some of the unintended consequences.
So a bit like the tax working group from the New Zealand model.
Exactly. Although their focus was tax policy, ours would be more on tax reform implementation. And hopefully Mr Bowen will make that sort of announcement in the lead up to the election.
Right.
So do you think there'll be any standing back on the tax credit cuts?
There could be, in terms of the Senate opposition, a proposal perhaps to allow low-income earners, however defined, to get some modest refunds.
Yep.
But I think the big target is the self-managed super funds.
And the self-managed super funds.
In pension mode, Tony, am I using the right language here?
Yeah, correct.
Where the refundable credits are really a big kicker to the returns.
But again, as you say, they might offer a modest. Okay, well, you're allowed the first $10,000 of franking credits back, or 15, or whatever number is they choose. That would take They might take a lot of heat out of the issue, mightn't they?
But it would also take a lot of money away from Labor in terms of its spending plans.
And it would also provide a lot more cost in the whole superannuation industry to have yet another administrative burden implemented, whether it be self-managed super funds or whether it be the bigger retail corporate whatever funds, to have some franking credits allowed, some not allowed.
I know the tax planning
would be huge.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be no shortage of work, that's for sure, if the Labor government gets in. Also, I want to tell members quite firmly that we are opposed to the Labor $3,000 cap on individuals who incur tax agent fees. We are very keen to collaborate with Labor on that. We've already put to them some suggestions for carve-outs, but overall we think it's bad policy, particularly when you've got a ATO with almost bottomless pockets who can take on individual taxpayers and can constantly ask for information or meetings, and really, fees can rack up quite quickly in those sorts of ATO audit environments. We don't think it's good for the tax system. It's certainly not good for the ATO, who don't want to be in the position of saying, well, we're putting all this pressure on you, and yeah, we're aware that the government is going to deny the tax deduction, but bad luck. If you were an ATO officer, we don't think that's a very good position to put them in either. So we're hoping for a bit of common sense on that policy.
That would be a big demand for it to simplify the laws, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean that's the almost humorous thing. I mean, on the one hand, Labor's going to impose all this change on the community, and then the next breath says
no one's allowed to do any tax planning,
and go to your tax agent and
be capped.
Capped
how much advice you're allowed to get.
It's quite the contradiction seems to be lost on some commentators, but it's certainly not lost on our members.
Really, the budget is probably going to be the coalition's tax election statement, isn't it? So there's going to be a lot of interest to see what it is contained. Do you think they might deal with Division 7A issues?
We're hoping that they'll give us a steer on what's happening with Division 7A. There is a sense that the budget will be an election budget, as you say, but we always look forward to some stock take, if you like, about what's been in the works. And Division 7A is of great concern to our members under the current proposals. There's concern about the lack of transition arrangements, a concern about old Division 7A loan arrangements. So a lot of work to be done there, but perhaps part of the political scenario is to sort of clear the decks and just focus on the good news rather than...
So that one has a big impact on our members and on the clients that they serve.
Yep.
But it's not so much a big ticket public item, is it?
No.
No, but amongst our members in small to medium practices,
Oh, it's huge,
it's a massive issue.